In this video, we are going to be fishing 24 hours offshore until we catch Florida's most prized fish. So without further ado, let's get right into this challenge. As we make our way out of Hillsborough Inlet, we start our 24-hour timer in the top right corner. Our main goal was to catch this fish before this timer ends. Just wait until you see what happened to us at the end of this challenge. We made a 28-minute run to the Fort Lauderdale area to set up near these cargo ships. When we got near the cargo ships, we rigged up our trolling spread. Once we finished rigging up our trolling spread and the whole trolling spread was in the water, we were about 35 minutes into this challenge. We now have been trolling for an hour and 21 minutes and we just got our first bite. This fish hit our top line and spooled for a good 10 seconds. We knew this was a solid fish, but not the fish we needed to complete this challenge. The fish we were targeting, Florida's most prized deep sea fish, they normally hit your deeper baits. How we get our bait deeper is we use an item called a planer. The planer basically presents our bait a little deeper so your lure just isn't dragging on top of the water. Once we saw this fish near the boat, we saw that it was a blackfin tuna. Blackfin tuna are a great catch down here in South Florida, but we were not looking for this fish on this day. Once we landed this fish and put him in the boat, we were now an hour and 29 minutes into this challenge. We knew our best shot to land this prize fish was either going to be in this morning window or before the sunset. So we reset our spread and got right back to trolling. We trolled for another 2 hours before we got our next bite. And this fish hit our deeper bait, so I thought maybe this fish could be the one that we need to complete this challenge. Once this planer popped, my brother ran to that rod and started fighting this fish. As you guys will notice, the family was extremely excited because we thought this could be the one.
We're tight! We're tight! Dad, we're tight! We're tight! Dylan, turn on your camera!
We now got that planer right near the boat, so I disconnected this planer and my brother finished drilling in this fish. We now saw this fish right behind the boat and saw that it was another tuna. A tuna is always a great catch, but in this challenge, this was not the right fish. So honestly here, I had some really bad gaff shots, but all that mattered was that we were able to land this fish. We now were 3 hours and 45 minutes into this challenge, and the family and I started to worry knowing that we were running out of time to catch the most prized fish. The weather got extremely bad. For our safety, we ran back into the inlet and we waited out this storm. After waiting out this storm, we waited about 3 hours and 15 minutes until all these storms cleared up. Once they cleared up, we knew we had to head back offshore and search for Florida's most prized fish. We are now 8 hours into this challenge, and my brother just had this giant hit, but sadly this fish broke off 5 minutes into the fight. After losing this fish, we continued to troll, and that's when we got the bite we were dreaming of. Once this planer popped, we knew that this was the fish that would complete this challenge. The family and I were so excited. Now all we needed to do was land this fish. So my brother Hunter now started fighting this fish, and when you're fighting a fish this big on these reels, you will notice that whenever something is able to spool these reels, it's usually a really big fish. We took this fight extremely slow because we did not want to lose this fish. And when you get a bite on the troll, this is a quick little tip. One of the best things you could do is not stop your boat. When you stop your boat, it could give the fish slack to cut through your line or potentially break your hook. That's why when you keep your boat moving, the fish most of the time has some sort of tension on it, even when you're not reeling. So we now see this fish rise to the surface, and this is when you can slow down your boat, but I would never completely stop your boat. So my dad slowed down the boat, and now we're about 9 hours and 14 minutes into this challenge. And if you guys can drop a like on this video, it would really help the family and I out, and definitely let us know in the comments down below what challenge we should do next. So we are now 10 minutes into this fight, and we saw that this fish was a wahoo, the most prized deep sea fish down here in South Florida. So at this point, now that we knew it was the target species that would complete this challenge, we definitely did not want to lose this fish. So we now got this planer right near the boat, and the reasoning for those of you that don't know what a planer is, what a planer does is it takes your bait down deep. So a bait that would realistically swim right on top of the surface would now swim about 30 to 40 feet deep. So we have this bridle system rigged up where we could just disconnect the planer and my brother Hunter could just continue reeling. From the planer to the fish, it's about 100 feet of mono, and we usually add 15 feet of fluorocarbon. So now that this fish was right behind the boat, I grabbed the gaff because even on the smaller wahoo, you still want to gaff them because these things go nuts in the boat. So we were now in the end game fight of fighting this fish, but more importantly, we were seconds away from completing our challenge. What makes these wahoos so epic to catch down here, and what makes them really the most prized fish down here in South Florida, is every time you hook up to one of these fish, you're just in for an epic battle. No other fish can pull this hard on the troll like a wahoo. They also make a great dinner. They're personally my favorite fish to eat raw. Okay, this fish is now right behind the boat, and it looked like a really solid sized fish. So I was already prepared with my gaff ready to go, but I got extremely lucky. This fish, as you guys will see, was just surfing on top of the water. So I gaffed this fish, and once I was able to land a really nice gaff shot on this fish, you guys will just see how excited we were. We have officially completed our goal to catch most prized deep sea fish down here in South Florida. It took us about 9 hours and 30 minutes, but we got the job done. We hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you guys in the next week's Barjacks video.